Okay. So we always want to just kind of make a few recommendations or a few, I should say, announcements of people that have gotten promoted. So Gabriel Rodriguez on Ricardo de la Pina's team just got promoted to regional consultant. So congratulations, great job there. Everybody give him a round of applause. Appreciate all the input there. Peggy, let's see here. This is Esperanza, promoted to regional consultant as well. So again, another congratulations, great job. And then Latoya Bacchus, promoted to regional consultant on Jarrad Abshire's organization. So hey, great job, great job. Keep up the great work, everybody. Hey, listen, when you get promotions to regional consultant, guess what happens? You make more money, okay? And I always like to ask people this, hey, do you want to make more money or less money, right? They always say the same thing. Of course I want to make more money, all right? So you got to get promoted to get to the more money. And I just want to congratulate those three people once again, Gabriel, Peggy, and Latoya. Great job. Keep getting promoted. Now on to on the senior consultant. At senior consultant, you unlock 69% of the Ambit Energy compensation plan. So push, push, push. All right, next up, let's talk about the Ambit Energy Roaring 2020 promotion. Hey, guess what? It is Tuesday, the 4th right now. You know what that means? That means this promotion is more than halfway over. We only have about a week and a half left. So we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week, and then all of next week, and then it's it. It's game over, okay? So we've got about 10 days left on this promotion. And I don't know about you, but Doug Parker, this guy right here, I'm trying to make this promotion count, okay? I'm trying to do everything that I possibly can to make as much happen as I possibly can. So if you want to make a lot of money during this promotion, come on, raise your hands. Go, whoop, whoop, come on, hello. Everybody out there, y'all want to make some money? Raise your hands, okay? So it really is about doing two simple things. We gather a handful of loyal customers, people that we know, love, and trust, and we help other people do the same thing, okay? That's why people on our team are getting promoted. That's why we've had some records that we've broken internally, kind of back to back months, even during the time of the year where people consider it the slow time. And I love this wrap up of the Grant Cardone's book. I mean, this chapter I highlighted almost every daggum page, things on there, but it just talks about adding fuel to the fire, keeping intensity, work harder when other people are backing off. And I think that we intrinsically just do those things. But with all of that being said, I just want to congratulate everybody that's on the Ambit A-Team that's out there making it happen. And hey, if you're on a cross line, sideline, different team, hey, congratulations to you as well. It's not that just because you're on. Latoya, my apologies there. Latoya got promoted to senior consultant. She's already getting 69% of the compensation plan. So congrats, good job there. I'd put RC. But yeah, no matter what team you're on, hey, congratulations on your success. Let's keep it rolling and talk about this roaring 2020. So while the promotion is really kind of nearing its end, I encourage you to put as many people in the business as you possibly can, okay? And then you got 28 days to work with them to help them get their customers. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about the customers, because if you're new on this call, it sometimes can be a little bit confusing. The current promotion is called triple quadruple for the Texas market. I'm going to focus on that for today. So it takes 7 customer points in order to accomplish that promotion or that promotion payout of quadruple bonus. So you're a new marketing consultant. You just got in the business. Whenever you get your first 2 customers, you get a $100 commission. Now, here's what that would look like in a normal situation. You'd become your own first customer, and you really just get one person to be your customer, one other person, and you get that first $100. So that's the first 2 customer points. Now, on the flyer, when you look at the flyer you downloaded in Power Zone, it says on there that you have to have 4 customer points. But Doug, you just now said I need 2 customers, myself and one more. Yes, but the website being on counts as 2 virtual points. That kind of throws people for a loop. I remember when I first got into business about 6.5 years ago, Jarrad and I would talk all the time. I'd say, Jarrad, so you're telling me if I do this, I'm going to get paid that? And he's like, no, that's not how it works. You got to have the website on, and then 2 customers pays you this, and so on and so forth. So first 2 customers and the website, okay, that pays you the first 100. You get another customer, you get another 100. You get another customer, you get another 100. You get another customer, you get another 100. So you get 5 real live breathing customers in Texas and your 2 website. That's 7 customer points. That's how you get paid the quadruple bonus as a new marketing consultant coming into the business. Now, if you went to simulcast and you were an existing consultant already, then and maybe you've been promoted through the compensation plan, those same numbers apply to the extra 55, the extra 80, the extra 80, the extra 25 at the regional, senior, executive, and national levels. So everything can get quadrupled there. And it honestly, it is one of the best promotions we have ever had in the history of Ambit Energy. So, if you haven't sponsored anyone just yet in this few weeks, I get it. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to retract that statement. I don't get it. I don't understand what in the heck you're doing if you ain't sponsoring nobody. But what I do want to say is you can't go backwards and sponsor anybody, okay? What you can do is tonight, you can blow up your written list, expand it more. You can invite people. You can do the presentation, showing the videos. You can do a validation 3-way call. You can do all those things. You can't do anything about the past. That's what I was kind of mentally thinking that I kind of get it. But what I meant was, you just can't do anything about that now, but don't let the past impact the future, okay? Go to work, make sure you're doing stuff right now, and if you haven't sponsored anybody, okay, you got to sponsor a minimum of 1 person. If you have already sponsored somebody, my encouragement is this: at a minimum, duplicate whatever you've personally sponsored in the next 10 days. So we are currently, I guess it would be, we're 18 days into a 28-day promotion. So let's just say that you sponsored 2 people in the first 18 days. I want to encourage you to sponsor 2 more people in the next 10 days minimum. So double your production, but in a lesser time. Okay, does everybody make sense? If that makes sense to you, give me one of those little nod of the heads. All right, perfect. I love it. Okay, so those of you guys with your pictures on your pictures aren't nodding their heads. They're just sitting there still. Okay, no, I'm just playing. So let's make sure that we go out and frontline activity. You can't really control your downline organization's activity. You can control your own activity. But if we have it as kind of the beat of the drum, the mantra of what we're doing is that we're trying to all kind of pull the rope the same direction, it'll help us accomplish our goals. So I rattled off a couple of things as it relates to the basic training, and that's written list, invitation, presentation, validation. Those are the 4 fundamental building blocks of this Ambit Energy opportunity that we always talk about on every call. So written list, obviously, is your written list. It's a list of all the people that you know. Invitation is where you invite people to the business. Say, hey, do you want to make some extra money? Keep it short and sweet, 10, 15 seconds. Presentation is where you present the opportunity. The best way to do that is to use the corporate videos that we currently have, because it duplicates and everybody gets those when they sign up. It makes it very easy to show that over and over and over again. And then the 4th part is the validation. That's the topic of this week. So I want to hit on a couple of things for that validation. Number 1 is validation allows you to step back and not have to be the expert in the energy field. Now, I don't know about you, but when it's really cold outside, which we've got a little cold snap that's coming through here in Texas right now, or it's really hot outside, I kind of like having air conditioning and heating, okay? And so I really count on having my air conditioning and heating, which happens to be powered by electricity. And I don't know if you have ever had your electricity go out or your air conditioner break, but when it's summertime in Texas and it's about 110 degrees outside and it's about 90 degrees inside your house, it is kind of difficult to sleep when you're hot and sweaty, okay? So when people start getting reluctant to do business with you because they don't want you to be in charge of their electricity because they don't understand how it works with deregulation, that's why you need validation. That's why you need a third party, an expert that has experience in the business to help out. So Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book. It's called the Tipping Point, okay? So if you have never read that book, I highly encourage you right now, write down this book. It's called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. He's got some of the best content I've ever read. I really enjoy hearing from him. But one of the things he talks about is that you will not be an expert in a business or in anything for that matter until you've had 10,000 hours of experience. Now, here's what 10,000 hours looks like, okay? If you got your pen and paper out, write this down. 10,000 hours means that the average person working a full-time job works 40 hours per week. So the average employee also has about 2 weeks per year of vacation time. So out of 52 weeks, they're working 50 weeks. 50 weeks times 40 hours is 2,000 hours. So 2,000 hours a year is about what an average person works doing full time. So after 5 years, they could potentially be considered an expert because 5 years times 2,000 is 10,000 hours. So if you're working Ambit Energy full time for the next 5 years, then you might be considered an expert. And I went through that whole mathematical equation to share this with you. When you're talking to someone and you say, "Hey, hold on for a second, I'm gonna go grab Doug Parker. I'm gonna grab Jarrad Abshire. I'm gonna grab, one of the executives on the call," and somebody goes, "Oh, hold on for a second." Say, "No. Hey, listen, I'm not an expert in the business." You can tell them with all sincerity that you're not an expert in this business, okay? Because frankly, you're probably not. I mean, most people are working very much less than 20 hours, which would mean it would take 10 years to become an expert if you kind of hit all those thresholds. So I just want to share that with you because that gives you a tool of being able to get someone on to validate the call with you. It works out very nicely just to be able to say, "Hey, I'm not an expert." So I want everybody on the call real quick. Take yourself off mute for just a second. Everybody take yourself off mute. Jarrad, can you unmute everybody? Unmute all? I got it.
Yes, here.
Unmute all. Okay, everybody, you're off mute. That's crazy. Here's what I want you to say all together. Say, "I'm not an expert."
I'm not an expert.
Let's do it again. Say it 2 more times. I'm not an expert.
I'm not an expert.
All right, one more time. I'm not an expert.
I'm not an expert.
There you go. All right, perfect. Everybody said, "I'm not an expert." Okay. So here's what that does. You're just mentally preparing yourself because a lot of times we like to practice with live ammunition. So we just, get on the call. We're talking to somebody and you say, "Hey, I'm going to get Jarrad on the call." And then the person says something and you're like, "Oh," because you've never practiced it before. Okay. People say that practice makes perfect. That's not the truth. Perfect practice makes perfect. Okay.
I'm not an expert.
Perfect practice makes perfect. Okay. So
Exactly.
with all that being said, I'm going to mute everybody out here again real quick. All right. Perfect. And so validation, I want to look like this. Whenever you're showing the plan, you've invited someone to jump on the call with you. Okay. You've invited someone, and when you do the invitation, you send a text message to, I'm using Jarrad a lot here, but maybe you send a text message to Jarrad and you say, "Hey, Jarrad, I'm showing the plan tonight at 3:45. One of the things, I got a text message I'll show you right here. Somebody just joined the business. I love it when that happens. I'm looking at my phone, but I got a call here just now where a guy says to me, he says, "Hey, showing the plan, okay, to Maria at 4:30 tomorrow. Are you available?" That's what it looks like. Okay, that's Jason, one of our senior consultants on the team. He sent that to me for tomorrow. That's what you do. You send a text to Jarrad. You say, "Jarrad, I've got a STP tomorrow at 4:30. Are you available?" I haven't responded back to him yet because I'm doing the call, but I will do that in just a moment, and then I'll put it on my schedule so I'll be available for him. You send that text, and then whenever you start showing the video, doing the presentation, at that moment, that's whenever you start the presentation. You send another text to Jarrad and say, "Hey, Jarrad, I just started the videos." That way he's kind of on notice. In about 10 to 12, 15 minutes, he needs to be available for you. Okay. Now, when you go through the validation, we talk about the presentation. When you get the validation, you've already asked the questions. What was your favorite part? What else did you like? Do you see how this makes sense? Okay, let's get you started. Okay. Once that transition occurs, if they sign up right then and there, you just text Jarrad and you say, "Jarrad, they're signing up right now. We'll call you for a welcome call here in just a moment." In the event that they ask any questions, that's when you conference him in and you just say, "Hey, hold on for a second." Okay, so let's practice that again. I'm not going to take you off of mute, but everybody say this with me real quick. Say, "Hold on for a second." Okay, hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. That is one of the most powerful things you can possibly say to someone because it just kind of takes them off guard for just a moment. Hey, hold on for a second. They have no idea what's coming. It gives you the ability to kind of take a deep breath. It gives you the ability to put them on maybe mute for a second, or maybe go ahead and do your conference call and conference in Jarrad. So you say, "Hold on for a second." And then with validation, there's a few things that I want to cover with you on the appropriate way to do your validation. So number one, and this is super duper important, you want to introduce Jarrad in the way that he wants to be introduced. Okay. I'll use me for an example for just a moment. I don't care about all the accolades. You don't have to get on there and say, hey, Doug's made $1 million at Ambit. You don't have to say all this crazy, all these 5-star awards and all this kind of stuff, because they don't know what any of that means. All you really got to do for me is say, hey, Doug's been in the business for a little longer than me. He's had some more success than me. And I just really want to make sure I'm making a good use of your time. Okay. One thing that I didn't say was I want to make sure that he answers all your questions or anything like that. I don't want to plant that seed in their mind, because words are important. You need to choose them very wisely. If you plant the seed that they need to ask questions, you know what they're going to do? They're going to probably say something like, well, I don't have any questions right now, but let me go do some research and I'll get back with you. It plants a seed that sprouts in their mind of something to say. It loads their lips, and it's not a good idea to go down that path. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? So what you're going to do is say, I want to make good use of your time. I want to make sure that we get all, get everything addressed for you, something to that effect. And then you want to, basically talk very nicely about the person that you're, going to be having added to the team. You don't want to call him your prospect. You don't want to say, hey, Jarrad, this is my prospect, James. What you want to say is, hey, Jarrad, this is James. I've worked with James in the past on a couple of different companies, on a couple of different projects, and the guy's a really talented guy. I can't wait to, to have him on the team. But there was a few things he wanted a little more clarity on. Hey, Jarrad, and I'll say, Jarrad, can you jump in here for me real quick? And I've introduced him, and I'll just put myself on mute. And that's the next thing I want to really go over, because I know Doug, and Doug likes to talk. Okay, I really do. I enjoy talking to people. And so Jarrad will get going, and he'll start talking, and I'll be like to myself thinking, Jarrad, tell him about the free electricity. You know what I mean? Hey, tell him it's 7 levels or whatever. Okay. And Jarrad doesn't really need me in his ear chirping, because Jarrad's made a whole bunch of money. He's been in the business now for over a decade. He's getting closer to that millionaire mark himself, and he really doesn't need my help. And plus, my help might throw him off of his train of thought of what he's trying to kind of go in a certain flow through this process. And so what you want to do is just put yourself on mute, so that if you have the urge to say something, if it accidentally slips out, or you're going, they don't hear those little things coming out of your mouth. Now, I can tell you that I'm guilty of it too. Okay. So I'm not saying that, you're a bad person if you have that inclination. Okay. I'm saying that you're a bad person if you interject. I'm saying you're a bad person. I'm just playing. But it is out of line, okay, if you do interject, and it will make it to where people won't do 3-way calls for you. They won't do validations for you. So just make sure that you kind of follow the process there and listen. The last thing I'll tell you about validation is I want you listening 100% of the time. I don't want it to sound like this. Hold on for just a second. I'm going to pull something up here. So this is what it sounds like sometimes I've heard doing 3-way calls. They're sitting there typing in the background, and I'm like, what in the heck are they doing? You know what I mean? They're not talking, but they're typing like 1,000 miles a minute, and it's like so distracting. So what you need to do is listen. There's a reason why somebody's doing a validation call, because soon you'll be doing validation calls for others as you promote through the compensation plan. And I want to make sure that you're hearing the things and the direction that I'm going and the reason why I'm doing those things. So that's just a little something. Put yourself on mute, but then also don't multitask. The only thing I want you multitasking is maybe taking some notes and writing stuff down. Maybe there's something that stood out that you really like the way that Jarrad said it. Maybe it was Jarrad says something one way, Doug says something another, James says something another way. They're all the right information. They're just a little bit different. I mean, I remember James saying something like, to people, not in a validation, but just in general, hey, are you allergic to making money? Okay. I've heard him say that before. Now, that's not something I would probably say for whatever reason, but it's super effective for James. And he just has this delivery of how he does it, and that might resonate with you, okay? I might say something like, hey, are you open to an additional stream of income? And you like that. But anyway, just take the notes and put it on mute and make sure that you're paying attention so that you can get better at this business. Okay, so that's a written list, invitation, presentation, validation. Those are the 4, kind of key pillars of this business and how you fundamentally build it. Now, we're getting into the last chapter of the 10X rule, chapter 23. My goodness, it was a great chapter. I got so much out of this thing that it rocks. It really does. I love me some Grant Cardone. The dude is hardcore, and I really like what he's all about. I really, really, really do. But I really want to hear from other people on the call first before I start getting into it, of some parts of it that they liked, things that they enjoyed. So what I want to do is, if you've read the book and you've got something that you liked out of it, what I'd like for you to do is just unmute yourself real quick and then share with us maybe a couple of things that you liked. And first, if you went through the book, please let us know what page it's on, and then kind of about where it's at on the page, so we can follow along with you.
This is Jarrad. Can you hear me, Doug? I'm about 95% on my frog voice, so it's getting there. Page 189. He's talking about kind of like the first time that he is, hey, I made the decision that I'm going to write my goals down. I'm going to do all out and just kind of do whatever it takes. And he says, you got to be aware of your friends and family who offer advice and quotes, because they do love and they care about you. They want the best for you. But many of them may suggest that they don't want you to be unrealistic and they'd be disappointed. So you've got these grand goals that you set for yourself, and the people that love you, they love and care about you, but they're coming from a stance of not abundance, right? They're just like a lack of something that they don't have because they can't see it. So therefore, if you try for something bigger than what they think is possible, then they view you as being unrealistic and they want to protect you from being disappointed. One of the other ones is 191, when he's talking about, he went to his team and he said, look, we're going to launch this program and we're going to make it big, right? But there's so many other reasons why it may not work and to get the publicity that it needs to be successful. The last part of 191, he says the first move was to inform my team. And he said, hey, we're going to move in this direction of our target. And we had to get it done no matter what. But he said, I want to be real clear. I don't want to hear anybody saying, I can't, we can't, it's too hard, it can't be done. And there's a bunch of other stuff, obviously, but I wanted to skip in that same tandem and let some other people kind of cover some things. But it's almost on the last page of the chapter. It's 203. He says, if you're going to take massive action, you're going to look around and see a world filled with average people, average thinking, and average actions. But he said, if you really take a harder look, you're going to see, really see behind this acceptance of average are people who have given up on their own dreams, who cease to live with a dynamic purpose. They're willing to settle for what their estimate of normal is, right? So again, it goes back to that first part where he says, look, your family thinks it's unrealistic expectations, but it's because they're just deciding that they want to settle for their estimate of what they think normal is. And you should be looking for people that you can duplicate from that has success because of the way they approach their lives. And not to compare yourself and think about, hey, why am I different from that person that's successful? Focus on how they think and act on how you can duplicate that. Success is not a choice or an option. It's your duty. Man, I hear that throughout the whole entire book. I just never really thought about it that way, right? Success is not a choice. If it's your duty, that's what you get up for. It's you get up to be successful. It's not like an option.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good, Jarrad. And one thing that I posted the other day, it was an Eric Worre video, and I posted it on the Ambit A-Team page, so you can scroll through there and find it, but on Facebook. But one thing that was really interesting to me is Eric Worre talks about how most people's family are kind of not supporting them in MLM, or a lot of people's family is not. And he talks a little bit about the psychology of it, and the primary reason why they're not supportive is because of the fact that they're not having success and they're tired of seeing them struggle. Okay. So if you want to get your family like on board, like if your spouse isn't on board or they don't think it's a good idea or whatever the case is, then go be productive and make it happen. Bring some checks and show them what's going on and help them, let them know that you are really, bought in and doing this stuff and you're going to have success. But whenever you're mediocre and they feel like all you're doing is wasting a bunch of time and wasting a bunch of money, well, no wonder they can't get behind you. You know what I mean? Because they don't believe in you. And then when they don't believe in you, it makes it harder for you to believe in yourself. And then you don't believe in yourself. How hard is it to convince somebody else to join your team? I mean, Jarrad and I, we've talked about this a million times. Man, people want to join a winning team. So if you talk like Charlie Brown to them, like, wonk, 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 and you think they're going to come join you because you're like, whatever? No, it don't work that way. They want excitement. They want success. They want to know, listen, this is working, and they want to jump on a winning team. I mean, you want to go join the Kansas City Chiefs? Okay. Is that who you want to go join? They just won the Super Bowl. Heck yeah. Or do you want to join the Dallas Cowboys? I mean, honestly, I love me some Cowboys, but they suck, man. They just suck. But the Chiefs, they don't. Okay, they're getting it done. I mean, people want to join a winning team. I saw somebody post something on Facebook yesterday. It said, "Get ready for all the bandwagoner Chief fans because now they're gonna love the Chiefs because they're winners, man. They're winning. How do you not like somebody like Patrick Mahomes? You know what I mean? I never cared about the Kansas City Chiefs in my life, but I kind of like watching Patrick Mahomes. He's a good old East Texas boys from White House. Okay, I can support that. I don't know that I'm a bandwagon kind of guy, but I do like winners. I promise you that, and he is one. So, who else had something out of this chapter they want to share with us? Come on now, somebody's got something. Mark Kunkel, where you at? You got something? Nothing today? Hello? Bueno? Okay. All right, so I'm going to share a couple of my things, and then you guys can jump in.
This is hello?
Yeah, Shirley, you there?
Hello? This is Shirley. Yes, I am. On page 200, where he says, well, it really starts on 199. To put myself at ease, I focused my attention on the future and reminded myself of my goals. On the way over, I reminded myself repeatedly that I could handle my fears and that I was going to have to do something like this. Otherwise, people would never come to know about me and my ability to help people. So I gave myself pep talks. And it said, look at the number of successful traits that I employed here. I have a can-do attitude, believe it, that it will be successful, show up, commit first, figure the rest out later. Do it now, not later. Go in all the way, be courageous, do what you fear, stay focused on the target, and be willing to be uncomfortable. And then the next paragraph, he says he was about 3 hours into it, and they said, come on, show us something that you really do beyond words, beyond explanations. So he said to the cameraman, come on, turn that camera and follow me. So he went to the Harley showroom floor and started engaging with customers. And he was moving around, taking photos and telling them your husband's going to buy a motorcycle. And so that's how you get it done.
That's good, Shirley. That's good.
So that was.
Go ahead.
Stood out to me.
I had that same thing. I had that same
that's
thing.
what was good to me.
Very good. I had that same thing highlighted, but I just now underlined this last part right here that says, be willing to be uncomfortable. You know, nobody likes rejection. Nobody likes to get, kicked around. Nobody likes to get told no. Nobody likes any of that stuff. So what we do is we tend to go away from the uncomfortable, and we tend to stay in comfort. I mean, we've got a coaching call that we're doing with some of our leaders, with an outside company that's investing in us for some beta testing. And we did a call this week, and the guy that's leading and facilitating, he was telling us about exercising and how in the morning time, it's really a comfortable thing. He calls it, I think he said a blanket monster. He's laying in the bed and the blanket's just a monster. It's on top of him, and it's hard for him to get it off because he's so comfortable in bed. He wants to have, abs of steel or whatever, but he's not willing to get uncomfortable enough to actually get out of the bed in the early morning to make it happen. So that's just one of the things that you got to be aware of, as you're kind of processing through that.
Doug, I was going to chime in on that same topic. So I've had this kind of a coaching opportunity with both Jordan and with Bella just in the last couple of weeks where they were having a challenge with some things that were making them uncomfortable. And one was, Jordan on the phone getting some rejection. And, I could hear the kind of change in the tone of his voice as he was hanging up the phone. I said, son, that feeling that you feel in your stomach and the way that makes your body feel and how you feel? I said, you know what that means? And he says, no, Dad, what's it mean? He said that I effed up. And I says, no, son, that means you're alive. And you need to pick up the phone, dial it again, because anytime you're doing that feeling, you're going outside of your comfort zone and you're growing, you're getting better. and you know, you're just going to keep growing from that point forward. But when you get that horrible feeling in your stomach, you just know, hey, you're alive and you're doing something that's going to make you stronger and grow. Like lifting weights, it's you ain't growing unless it hurts a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. That's a good ad. All right, who's got some more information out of the book they'd like to discuss?
Doug, I'd like to. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One thing I just want to just pass on to everybody is just that I've had to start over. I'm going to humble myself a moment and say I thought I had a really nice big list and things. However, it didn't turn out that way. So I had to relearn the 10X rule that you have to go all out and find the people that think like you. And the big thing that I keep seeing in this book, and it's worded differently, is action cures fear. And so just when you think that, you know, that you don't want to make the call or something that you can put off, that's the time you need most, because back here on page 202, you know, it kind of brings it up. And I think it kind of sums it up this way. It's just big thinking, massive action, expansion, and taking the risk are all necessary for our survival and our future growth. Because if you stay small, you'll think small. If you think big, you will get big. And it reminds me of one thing, is just that, have you ever heard somebody say to the effect of, you know, I'm not really good at that, or, you know, I can't really do that, okay? I would say put one word after that. I'm not really good at that yet, but I'll get better. I can't really do it that way yet, but I'll get better. And that's the way that, you know, my mind, I've tried to, or I'm resetting my mindset completely, because if it's not something I'm good at, it's just, they're going to be, I'm not good at it yet, but I will be, and I'll be successful at it. And I think that page just sums it all up. And that's just what I wanted to put in there.
Man, that is fantastic. I got this radio personality buddy of mine that used to be here in Dallas, and now he actually just took over one of the country music like Hall of Famers of all time, and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name, but it was out of Weatherford, Texas. He did like this top country countdown. But nonetheless, my buddy's name is Fitz, but he used to say all the time on his radio show, think big because you're thinking anyway, okay? At the end of the day, you're going to be thinking. So you might as well be thinking big. And you know, Zig would talk about getting rid of the stinking thinking. I mean, it really makes a difference. And I love that part about, you know, just yet at the end. You know, I'm not good at this yet. Okay. So that's great. And I had that highlighted as well. Anybody else want to chime in?
Hey, Doug, real quick, since just add this real fast. 192, he's kind of going on the reasons about the average thinking, and that his comments, he would get, hey, there's 300 shows are pitched, every single show that gets picked up. So they're like, that's not good odds. The networks aren't spending money. A sales show is not something people even care about. And there's 750,000 books written a year. You know, if you're not well known, how are you going to get on TV? And then he says, you know, that's when most people quit. And he said, you can't do that. Realize that everyone who's trying to get their break is going through the same thing. And I posted that comment in the chat there. It said, remember, successful people embrace fear and discomfort. I mean, it's like an oxymoron. You want to embrace something that's uncomfortable and doesn't feel good. Doug, maybe you kind of hit on what do you feel that is what's that everyone's who's trying to get their break? I mean, what is their break in Ambit Energy if you're building this for the long haul as a consultant? I mean, what's that break and what's that look like as an Ambit consultant in your opinion?
Well, a couple things. I mean, so number one is getting paid, you know what I mean? So like, there's a lot of people that get in the business and they ain't getting paid. And when you're not getting paid, it's hard to have, you know, success, and it's hard to portray success when you're not having it yourself. So I talked to a guy today that I'm not going to bring up any names or anything. He's not part of Ambit. It's a guy I've known for many years, and we just kind of randomly bumped into on Facebook and caught up today. But he's got this kind of a little catchphrase that's actually very catchy. And, but I kind of looked him dead in his eye today and I said, hey, listen, bro, if you're not doing that, then it doesn't matter that it's catchy right now. Nobody wants to follow somebody that ain't making at least 10 grand a month. Okay. I've said that a bunch of times before. And so if people ain't making 10 grand a month, they just don't, it's hard to get excited because and 10 grand a month. And he said to me that, man, you're right. He goes, I made that before, but even 10 grand a month don't go as far as it used to. But the bottom line is that you got to have kind of a breakthrough, and you just got to like condition yourself to getting pushed through it so you can start getting paid. And then when you start getting paid, what happens is inevitably you get promoted. Then when you get promoted, well, guess what happens then? You get paid more for doing the same thing. Then you have some leverage. You have some other people you're getting paid off of. And then it's the thing that Jim Collins talks about in Good to Great, talks about big mo. It's momentum. Then you start every revolution, it gets easier and easier to spin that thing, that flywheel or a snowball. Every revolution gets bigger and bigger and bigger, not because you're doing anything different. It's just a bigger rotation. And so I was talking to somebody the other day that they were trying to compare some stuff to kind of what I do. And it was like, that's time out. That's not a fair comparison. I've got, almost, I guess, 2 decades of experience, or almost 3 decades now of, I'm getting old, all these daggum gray hairs, of experience in sales and personalities and understanding people. And so I've got a different skill set and a different level of experience in this business than they did. And so you really got to look at that. But at the end of the day, it's kind of hanging in there. And like Steve Thompson says, our number 3 income earner, just never quitting, keeping on, plowing through, digging, and just not giving up, and continue to get that experience until you become an expert in the business, an expert in the industry, an expert in how we do what we do. So, but what I've always found is, with a pocket full of money, everything is funny. And so the more success you have, the more money you make, with few exceptions, it really helps you, do what you do. And, we never make any income claims about what somebody else is going to make or not make or embellish anything. But at the end of the day, when you're making more money, it's easier because you carry yourself differently whenever you're making more money. It seems to be more apparent when those things are the case. So is that kind of what you're looking for there, Jarrad? Okay, very good. All right, so we got a couple other things I've got highlighted, but feel free, if you've got a comment to share, take yourself off mute. If you've got something else that's in the book you'd like to highlight, we'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'm going to hit a couple of them and we'll wrap up this book. All right, so I'll just kind of finish up here. And, I like the part, where it's on page 195. And he was basically saying, hey, matter of fact, I'm going to be in, in New York next week, on Thursday. And there's like, hey, man, some people may think that, you kind of like overstepped your bounds or said you maybe told a story to somebody. But he's like, hey, man, I took control of that, Hey, my assistant doesn't make my calendar. I make my calendar, and I just automatically put that on my calendar while I was having a conversation. That's okay to do that. And then he says, I'll figure it out later. Now, for those of you that just read the book but you didn't listen to it, there's some golden gems in the audio version that are not inside the normal print. He goes on little rants throughout when he's reading it, and some of it it's unbelievable. But it's always great hearing him kind of say those things, and just getting out there and doing it. On the next page on 196, it says. How the producer said, hey, anyone with this much belief and clarity, I will get behind. That's another thing with team building. If you're not fully bought in on Ambit Energy, I can tell you right now, it's going to be very difficult for you to get your friends and family or somebody else bought in on it, okay? If you're lukewarm, then it just ain't, there's lots of stuff you can go read about, be in or out, don't be lukewarm, all these different things. The reality is, if you're not fully bought in, you can't persuade somebody else to do it. So you're like, hey, this kind of sucks and I'm not doing very good at it. You want to come join me? No, people don't say that. You know what I mean? The reason why people want to join, the Ambit A-Team and they want us helping out and doing things, it's because we're winning, okay? We're making money. We're having some time freedom here and there. We're having some financial freedom. There's things that are happening for our team, and we don't have to embellish or do anything because it's just the truth. You know what I mean? They see what's going on. And people are attracted to that. We've all seen those people, that they've got a magnetic personality, okay? Some people have a magnetic personality that attracts people. Other people have the kind of magnetic personality that's like two opposite ends of the pole that are the same way. It rejects people, okay? You got to be one of those people that attracts people, okay? So so that's that. And let's see what else we got here. On page 198, the last sentence of the first paragraph says, "Never quit adding wood and taking action, regardless of what others are doing." And then he kind of talks about how he went all in and did more. I think our team has done a great job of that over the last year. It don't matter if there's a promotion going on. It don't matter what's going on. We are grinding and working. It don't matter what the rates are. I don't care about none of that. Okay, we're going to sign customers up, consultants up, no matter what. And for those that are doing that, God bless them. For those that aren't doing that, hey, I can't help you. You know what I mean? We got to keep the pressure on. Whenever it's this quote unquote slow time of the year, we got to work harder because we got to make money. When it's the craziest time of the year where there's promotions like right now, we got to work even harder because we got to make hay while the sun's shining. So you know what the moral of the story is? You got to keep working harder and pressing harder and making it happen. Okay. So, there's just so much in there. I can't go over it all. I really can't. I mean, I literally have highlights everywhere, but I will kind of just reiterate what Jarrad said, which is the last sentence of page 204. Remember, success is your duty, obligation, and responsibility. And by thinking at 10x levels and taking 10x actions, I am certain you will create more success than you've ever dreamed of. So basically, guys and girls, we got to go out there and make it happen. Go apply these 10x rules. I've gone through this book a couple times now, and I assure you I will go over it a couple more times before it's all said and done. The last thing that I've got to cover real quick tonight is our next book. Our next book is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. So make sure that you get your copy. Again, Jarrad Abshire's got it. Look at that. My recommendation is always, if you can financially afford it, okay, get the actual written book. Also get the audio version, because sometimes it's read by the author. It just has more to it. But I've already gone through this book. This will be my 5th time to go through it, 4th or 5th time. But you can see I've already got a bunch of highlighted stuff in there. I can't wait to go through it all again. And we're going to go over, basically it's 6 chapters, so it's going to take us about 6 weeks. Next week I'm gonna kind of kick us off, and then I'm going to ask Ricardo De La Pena is going to do week number 2. If you would, I would like to have volunteers for week 3, 4, 5, and then I'll probably wrap up 6 for you to conduct the call. So if you're interested in doing that, ping me and I'll get on a schedule of that, because we want to hear different voices and different people doing this. But with that being said, everybody, the last thing is Thursday night we're having our business presentation in Dallas. It's at the Wyndham Hotel at 7800 Alpha Road, and we're changing up our format. We did something a little different at the end of last year, and we're going to do something a little different for the next couple of months and find the right rhythm. But on the first Thursday of every month, which is this Thursday, we're going to do a jumpstart training after the meeting. So that means from 7:30 to 8, we're going to do a condensed English-Spanish combo meeting. So 30 minutes in and out quick. Then we're going to do a 1-hour jumpstart training from 8 until 9. Okay. So make sure to invite all of your folks. And when I say jumpstart training, that's a jumpstart for new people getting in the business. And if your business has stalled out on you or died on you, man, we'll put some jumper cables on you and we'll jumpstart you there too. Okay. So either way, you need to show up. And if you're killing it in the business, then you need to show up and you need to share what you're doing to kill it in the business. Okay. So either way, we want all hands on deck. I'm going to be closing down the meeting, and I say closing down the meeting as in I'm going to be the last speaker of that meeting on Thursday night. And then on the third Thursday, we're having what we call our Super Thursday, and we'll have a special guest, and we're going to have them do an advanced training after that. So should be some really, really good stuff coming up. Make sure to do your invitations, presentations, validations, expand your written list. And really, that's all, folks. That's all I got for tonight. So we look forward to having everyone have success. If you need anything, let me know, and we'll conclude the meeting tonight. Everybody have a great night. See you later. Bye-bye.
Night. Thanks, Doug.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
See you later.
Appreciate it.
Nice. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Dougie Fresh.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. See you.